Asante Sana word. Asante Sana means thank you in Swahili. Another word we say here in Harambe is twende, meaning let's go.
Okay.
Now, Jumbo friends, my name is Dylan. I'll be your safari driver today. A few quick reminders before we get started on our safari. At all times, I am going to ask we remain seated. Even if I'm stopped for an animal, I am going to need us all to remain seated, as well as if we have any lap-seated children. Hands, arms, feet, and legs should remain inside the vehicle at all times. And lastly, I ask we refrain from making any hooping, hollering, whistling animal sounds or kissy sounds to any animals. We don't want to disturb them. We are heading into their homes after all. The first spot of their homes we'll check out is known as the Little Itsuri Forest, home to some more shy and timid animals, meaning you're going to want to keep your eyes peeled for any trying to hide from us. Like that one there over on the left through the bushes, you might be able to see it, that black and white bird. Might be able to see its colorful beak. That's the saddle-billed stork. Additionally, over on our right, walking around there, is going to be the okapi with those black and white stripes down its hind legs. You might be able to see him. Now we'll start with the okapi, the one on the right, as the okapi's black and white stripes would lead many to believe they are related to the zebra, as they would share those stripes with them. While that does make a lot of sense, that is not the case, as the okapi is actually the only known relative of a giraffe. This is because both the okapi and the giraffe share a long prehensile tongue. Prehensile means finger-like. They both have a long finger-like tongue that they're going to use to get food whenever they're hungry. Now, over on our left, might not be the greatest look at it, because you're going to have to look through some leaves and rocks. Might be able to see the black rhino back there. Now, the black rhino, while massive to us, is actually the smallest species of rhinoceros in all of Africa. Their horns are made out of material known as keratin. Keratin is the same material our fingernails are made out of. So it's almost like they have a giant fingernail growing right out of the top of their head. Or we have a bunch of mini rhino horns growing out of our fingers.
Don't like that either. Whoa!
Now over on our left, laying down in the bushes there, is the bongo. There's a really nice look at that second one.
That is a beautiful look at that.
Now the bongos, both male and female bongos, are going to have those horns of theirs. Additionally, the bongo's orangish coloring is going to make them a little bit more difficult to be spotted in the wild African forest, and I'll get into why in a second. But real quick, you might be able to see it over on the left, down the middle of those two bushes there, is a greater kudu popping its head out a little bit. It's going to be a little bit of a difficult look. The greater kudu, male kudus have horns, females do not, so that was a female. But getting back to the bongo, the bongo's orangish coloring make them a little bit more difficult to be spotted in the wild African forest due to the forest's colorful nature. So believe it or not, many would refer to the wild bongo as the ghost of the African forest. So if we don't see your favorite animal on the safari today, you can at least say you saw a ghost on the Kilimanjaro Safari. Ooh.
Spooky.
I'm gonna start to make our way into the next part of the reserve, Safi River, home to some more aquatic animals, like that one sticking its head out there on our right. You might be able to see it, the Nile hippopotamus. Now we'll talk about them in a second, as we might see some more of them later on. So we'll focus on this big white bird with the giant beak here on the island on our right. This is the pinkback pelican. Pinkback pelicans get their name from the pink coloring they receive during mating season. Additionally, their wingspan is around 7 to 9 feet wide. We'll see some more of those hippos on our left. Now, whenever we have a group of hippopotamus, it is referred to as a bloat of hippopotamus.
He just put his head back under.
Again, I do ask we try and remain seated. I know they're a little bit difficult to be seen. I'll pull up ahead to see if maybe we can get a better look. Now, a majority of the hippo's day is spent in the water to remain cool. They'll even go to the lengths of sinking to the bottom of the waterbed they're in and walking along the baseline of it as their preferred method of traveling through that water. Whenever they do that, they can do that action of being underwater for an extended period of time, as they're capable of holding their breaths up to 8 minutes at a time. We'll see one more new animal before heading out. On our left on the bank there, the Nile crocodiles. you might have noticed about the crocodiles was their size, as whenever they're fully grown, they'll reach a size of around 16 feet long. 8 of that 16 feet solely comes from their tails alone. Additionally, they have very versatile jaws. Jaws so powerful, they can break the bones of their prey with a single bite, yet they can be so gentle that they'll use them to roll their eggs around in their mouth, coating them in saliva, which is going to soften up the eggs and encourage the young ones to hatch. Now, real quick before we head to the next part of the reserve, we're going to look at our right at this giant tree here. This is known as a baobab tree, and they have 2 other names that they go by. One of which being the upside down tree, because if you look at the branches on it, you might have noticed they're leafless, and they'll remain leafless for 9 out of the 12 months of the year, making it look almost like the roots are growing right out. The other name they go by is the Great Tree of Life, as they'll hold anywhere from 10,000 to 30,000 gallons of water in them at once. It'll lead some animals. The area we're heading through is going to be the savanna. The savanna is one of the largest regions in all of Africa, housing the most animals. Animals ranging from the Maasai giraffe to the Hartman mountain zebra, wildebeest, and many others. We should be able to get a lot of these animals crossed off of our list, which if you're trying to keep a list, you can look above you at the animal spotting gun. We will see on our right-hand side there the wildebeests. Now, wildebeests used to migrate in packs as big as 1.5 million at a time. They don't migrate in those numbers anymore. They do still migrate the same distances, however, those distances being anywhere from 500 to 1,000 miles at a time. On our left there in that little corner, you'll see the African painted dogs. Now, the African painted dogs, while cute, are statistically the best land animal hunter in all of Africa, with success rates reaching around a 90% region. Their coating, or painting on them rather, it's like a snowflake, one of one, subjective to themselves. You'll never see the same one twice. On our left there, you're going to see the sable antelopes. Sable antelope's horns, as you might be able to tell, grow backwards, which not only looks cool in my super professional opinion, but it also gives them a great defense mechanism against predators attacking them from behind. Male sable antelopes, as they get older, will only grow darker through their entire lifetime.
Thank you. He was.
Now, something you might notice as we drive through the savannah are these little mounds in the ground, like that giant boulder-looking one on our right, or the smaller one on our left. These are known as termite mounds, and they're made out of a collection of sand, spit, mud, and dung, otherwise known as termite poop. The collection of all those together creates something that's as strong as concrete. You'll find them scattered all throughout the savannah in various different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
Now, coming up ahead, I know for a second we could see a Maasai giraffe, so we should be able to get a nicer look at it here shortly. Now we'll get a really nice look at the giraffe over on our left here shortly. Now, when we pass through this next area, as there is the baby zebra, I do ask we keep volume at a minimum. We don't want to disturb the animals, as we are getting really close to them here. Just wait for some of these animals to cross the path, then we can get back up on the move.
Zebra crossing.
Now there's the giraffe over on our left. There's some more wildebeest on our right. And on our right, we should get a closer look at those zebra. There's a really close look at one of them there.
There's the baby.
There's some. Go real slow so we can get a nice look at the baby one, hopefully. Now, whenever we see a zebra, the question always arises of if they're black with white stripes or white with black stripes. Let's see a show of hands who thinks the zebra is black with white stripes, and who thinks the zebra is white with black stripes. Now, for all those who participated, thanks. If you didn't, you'll come along eventually. Don't worry. The answer to that question, though, would be black with white stripes, as their root color comes from the color of their nose. Their noses are black, meaning they are black with white stripes. Now we should be coming up to the largest land animal in all of Africa. It's also my personal favorite animal for all those taking notes. It is the African elephant on our left. Now, whenever the elephant gets too hot, you'll catch them flapping their ears, as they have so many blood vessels in their ears. With a single flap, they can cool themselves down at roughly 14 degrees. They'll use their trunks to drink water, eat food, and throw around trees they had knocked over prior as a form of playing around with one another. Over on our left, we'll see the greater flamingo. Now, they are the lightest shade of pink that a flamingo can be, and they don't start out this color, as you'll see some gray ones there in the middle. Those are baby flamingo. Now, it'll take them about 2 years' time to get their full shade of pink, and they'll get that pink coloring from the protein in the brine shrimp they eat. That protein is known as keratin. On our right there are the elands. The elands are the largest antelopes on the reserve. Their horns will grow in a spirally manner from birth and will continue to do so. Whenever a male eland tries to impress a female, he will urinate on a bush, rub his horns through that urinated bush, creating a flower crown of sorts to try and impress that female eland.
How would you feel if a boy peed on himself and impressed you?
I'll start to make
not
our
good.
way into the eastern savanna. On to the first animal we'll be seeing on our left, the white rhino. Now, the white rhino are the largest species of rhinoceros in the entire world, weighing around 4,000 to 6,000 pounds when fully grown. The white rhinos will like to roll around in this mud pit we're near, as whenever they roll around in that mud, it'll cool them off. They'll also give them a nice form of sunblock whenever that mud coating hardens on them. The white rhinos have terrible eyesight, so they make up for their poor eyesight with their great sense of smell and touch, tracking dung piles left by other rhinos. Their poor eyesight also gives way to their group name, that being a crash of rhino. We'll see some more rhinos coming up here, at least one more of them, but we'll focus more so on the animals on our left, on the hill there in the shade, the cheetahs. Now, the cheetahs are the fastest land animal in the world, and I do ask we try and remain seated. I know they're difficult to see. They'll go from a speed of 0 to 60 miles per hour in roughly 3 seconds. Those speeds do two things for them. One, it makes them almost as fast as me. That's a proven fact. Two, it allows them to be very effective hunters, especially at short to medium ranges, as they'll only hold their top speeds for a few hundred yards, roughly around 200 yards. On our left here is a really good look at the ostriches, and some more cheetahs hiding there in the back. Now, the ostriches are the largest birds in the world, the fastest two-legged animals in the world. Their wings don't help them fly, but rather change directions whenever they run at a full speed. I will tell you, those were female ostriches there, as they had lighter gray featherings, contrary to the male's dark coal black feathering. Coming up on our left on this rock here, you'll see the lion.
They were on a different rock this morning. He's big snoozing.
Now the lion will spend a majority of its days sleeping, to be specific, anywhere from 16 to 20 hours out of their entire 24-hour day.
That is the life.
They're asleep for this long because they need all of that time to conserve and regain their energy when they are more active at night, as they are nocturnal animals. We'll see some more of those white rhinos on our right. We'll see the water bucks on our left as well. Funny enough, the water bucks get their name from the amount of water they drink throughout their day. They do drink in copious amounts. Their coat is a very watery and or oily texture as well.
Yeah, she has a wave.
There's the female lion on our left. We don't want to disturb them.
Big yawn. Aww.
Now the rocks the lion is upon are known as Kopi rocks. They're the main spot in the wild you'll find them hanging out on, as it gives them a great vantage point over their prey in the wild. We'll see at least one more animal before we head out. On our left here, we will be seeing the warthog hide behind that wall. There's two of them. Now the warthogs make these little caves in the ground. Those are their burrows, their homes. They'll either make their own or live in a burrow made by an animal that had decided to move out prior. The warthogs also happen to be related to the domesticated pig.
Domesticated variety. No, I'm jealous.
Now over on our right, real quick in the dirt, you'll see the ostrich eggs in the ground. The ostrich eggs are the largest eggs in the entire world, weighing around 3 pounds each. They're also capable of holding the entire weight of a fully grown human upon them without cracking, as they need to be able to support the entire weight of an ostrich, and a male ostrich can weigh upwards of 300 pounds. We'll start to make our way into the last part of the reserve, Magadi Glen, the former home of the warden, as we'll drive past the warden's old car and post. It is now, however, the new home of the greatest of all time, quite literally the goat, the Nigerian dwarf goats, to be specific. Now, Nigerian dwarf goats, while small, have 4 separate compartments in their stomach. Those 4 separate compartments allow them to eat and digest food at rapid speeds. Throughout their life, they'll do a lot of playing around, whether that be jumping, running, climbing, or headbutting. They primarily do it at a young age to help them mature, but the headbutting they'll continue to do, as it's another way they establish dominance over one another. You know, personally, every time I drive past the goats, I can't help but think of myself, because I am the goat. It's another proven fact you can take home with you. I'm the greatest of all time. Not really. Now, seeing as we did just pass by the warden's old post, it means we are going to start creeping our way back into the village of Harambe, meaning, unfortunately, our safari is going to be coming to a close here soon. I do hope over this time we were able to see some of your favorite animals, or you were able to learn something new. I want to remind everybody to do their best to recycle, or even go out and get a reusable water bottle, as it really does go a long way in helping out not only the animals in Africa, but the animals all across the world. It's another way we as humans can help do our part in keeping the planet safe.
We only get one.
Now start to hear some of the village music playing as we roll back into Harambe. You're still looking for some animal action to get right hand side. Watch your hands, arms, feet, and legs as the doors next to are sliding open. Watch your step as you disembark from the truck, my friends. Have a great day. Quackerini. Go make a difference out there.
Thank you. You too. Thoughts?
We did see some animals we didn't see this morning.
We did.
I think that was a good call.
I think it was too.